how they ran, how they were so alert, and how they looked so graceful and elegant. Wow. And that's what we did, was eat those foods. And we would say, that's the kind of food I want my son to have. That's the kind of food I want my daughter to have, so that they would always be healthy. And the only way you can do it is you have to do it yourself. And my grandchildren know that with me. And even my family, they'll say, oh, we're sitting down for supper or something. They'll say, what's that over there, Renee? And I'll turn, and meanwhile, like this. And I said, I caught you. I know what you're doing. But I said, I just care. And so our foods was a sacred ceremony. How many use a sacred ceremony when you cook? That's how we treated our food, was with ceremony. Because they came from a special place. The seeds and all the elements, all those is a ceremony to come and to give it life. So that those seeds were to prevent us from having sickness and disease. And it did a long time ago. It protected our bodies. But our bodies are now having so much preservatives. They said we don't need to be embalmed because we've got so much preservatives in us already. You look at how many, like that Dr. Oz? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he brings out those good examples of what your liver and what your heart and all these things look like. And so we need to be reminded, and because we had a good way of life. Does anyone have a cigarette?
I do. You want a cigarette?
Yeah.
No, I
left mine in the car.
You left yours in the car? No. She smokes too. Okay.
Yes, it's because someone has spoiled your blood when you were young.
It's not your fault.
When our visitors came, they misused these gifts. And one of them was tobacco. They rolled it. And then they smoked. And all those became, that's why the doctor will look at your tongue. It coats your tongue. You can't taste it. Taste food like you should. That's why our people now say, oh, that's why when the visitors came, they taste our food. They said, that's really, has no taste to it. You need some salt. Then they taste it. That's when when I go to restaurants, I can tell the cook is a smoker. Because my food is really salty. And I kind of go, oof. I mean, I don't mean to, but it's really salty. And so he puts a little more salt in there. Because now he can start tasting it, because he's finally getting through. Because now they got these gadgets. Now you can clean your tongue. Yeah, scraper. And that's why the doctor always asks you to stick out your tongue, because he looks at how it's coated, the color of it. And so at that time, the visitors said, now, we got another gift that is really good. You guys got to try it. Oh, you like sugar. Oh, so they start putting in a lot of sugar. Some people now have come to 4 or 5 in their coffee. You like our food. Our food is really tasty. So they said, we'll give you this. You know, in the beginning, when the flour came over on the boat, it had worms in it. How many heard that? because it was alive. And they says, oh, we don't want anything like that. We gotta make it last for the trip. And so they took all the nutrients out of it. And so now we have a gift that has no purpose. It has no spirit. And so that's why we have to use a lot of flour. And nobody's into drinking water anymore. Can I have some coffee? That's another gift they had. We had coffee. But they put cream and sugar in theirs. I think So they said, oh, you need milk and everything. Milk's the best. They were walking around like this. You cannot survive without this. All your kids need this. All you adults need this. Even to this day, I see adults drinking milk. Have you seen a baby, you know that when they're babies, they drink from their mother. And then when they get older, do you still see them drink from their mother? No. No. Where did this cow get his nutrients?
Mother's syringe.
So we skipped the middleman and went right to the source. We made a lot of teas, we made broths, we made all that to make, most of our food was soup. But they couldn't understand, so they had to say, oh, you like it? We got cakes, cookies. Oh, you like our donuts? You love our bread. Now we fry our bread too. So we put in lard. Oh, you'll really like, they got us liking lard, now we put lard in everything. How many used to, when they cook your bacon, used to pour it on your potatoes? Some, I used to do that. I admit it.
They did the bread in it.
You used to pour the bacon grease on your potatoes. That's how all the old timers a long time ago did. And now that I'm eating healthy, what I do at the restaurant, I'll use that napkin and I soak my bacon and soak those. If I have bacon, it's got to be well done, burnt, because that's the only way. And because I've seen things what they've done with the bacon, that's just that stringy bacon. Ooh, I'm sorry. I see what Coke can do to it. And that's what we drink a lot of, and that's all sitting in our stomach. And so our grandmothers taught us we need to eat right. We gotta be very careful what we eat. Because in time we're going to, our babies, our seeds, we're creating unhealthy habits. What's the first thing they do to children's baby food?
And it's out of habit, I think, too, because Steve caught me doing it once. And I wasn't even paying attention to what I was doing. I was just fixing, and then he said, "What are you doing?" And I looked down. I'm like, "Oh my God!" And then I put it down. But now I'm more conscious of that now.
So now we have, how many heard donuts is our tradition? Fried bread is our tradition. It's not our tradition. We had flour. Our flour was made from corn and cattail. It had a lot of nutrients in it. We had corn oil, sunflower seed oil, but we used to do a lot of baking on the rocks. We would heat the rocks up, and they would do really wonders. And then after the war, our people were still kind of healthy, then it became surplus foods. My grandma said, be careful of those foods that are coming. Those foods will destroy us. And grandma said, we always have to have a garden, and because you're going to get that spirit of that food. And so when I was growing up, I had a garden, and to this very day, my son and his girls, we have a garden. And because the importance of it, and when we go out to eat, I see a lot of people, how they put in all these things that is taking away their well-being. A lot of people will have on their salads, they'll pour a lot of salad dressing. They cover it in ranch. They have their chicken wings and ranch. They have, what else do they have with ranch?
Carrot sticks and celery sticks.
Yes, they have it. Pizza. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention pizza. Yeah, I seen that. Mayonnaise and everything. Everything at McDonald's and Wendy's, that's that sauce they put on it. And so after a while, and then people like vinegar. And people like pop. So this is what's happening to your body. No flies will touch this. I can leave this out for days and no flies will touch that. That's what's sitting in your stomach. That's what's in your veins. That's why you have heart attacks, because that's why we have our legs being amputated, because no is can't get to our feet. Our children are having health problems. And we're teaching our children to eat this way. That's why we have addictions. I work at a treatment center. That's what I show them. It's the food that they're eating causes addictions. And so they have, I want to get high, I want to feel light, I want to feel good. But how can they feel good? How can you feel good when this is sitting in your stomach? This is sitting in your stomach. You can't think. You can't function. You have a lot of health problems. And that's what they told us. Beware of the gifts that are coming. They will destroy your well-being. And they have made all this stuff without ceremony, without kind words. Can you imagine how many times this jar has been tossed around? Look at the journey that he had to make to come here. And his spirit was lost, so he had to add in more sugar, more milk, to put a little bit life into that. Look at all the ingredients they had to put into this to make it, to have life. When the simple things in life are the most sacred is food for us. And so those foods, that seed, we need to be reminded. I do this in a treatment center the first week, and I still have that sitting out. To remind them, if they want to feel better, they have to start learning how to eat right. Because now it affects their body. It's starting to break down. Nobody wants to get up and run around. Nobody wants to go out and do chores.